Very good evening and a warm welcome to the State of Business. I'm Nishani Pigera. Let's first take a look at tonight's headlines. Government plans to set up serious fraud office and LECO consumers to be given bank loans to purchase solar panels. The Cabinet has decided to extend the term of Anti-Corruption Committee Secretariat. The proposal made by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe to continue the operation until a new institutional structure is introduced was approved by the Cabinet of Ministers. Accordingly, the government will establish a fully powered Serious Frauds Office in Sri Lanka, which is similar to the Serious Frauds Office in the United Kingdom. The committee was established earlier by the Cabinet in 2015 to receive and facilitate complaints on serious frauds and corruption. In other Cabinet decisions, the Cabinet has decided to support a proposal by the Minister of Transport to increase the fine for persons who operate buses without a valid passenger service permit. Accordingly, the fine will be increased from 10,000 rupees to 200,000. Meanwhile, the Media Ministry will initiate a process to obtain public consultation on media standards and entitlement. The government proposes to establish an independent board to regulate the contents of news published in print media, broadcasting media and registered websites. Minister of Plantation Industries Navin Dissanayake says he is not in a position to release funds collected via the tea promotional levy to the consolidated fund. He said $50 million are in the tea promotional fund to be utilized. The minister said this responding to a question raised by JVP MP Sunil Handunnetti.
මේ තේසස් අරමුදල සම්බන්ධයෙන් ඔබතුමාගේ ස්ථාවරය කුමක්ද භාණ්ඩාගාරයට තේ ඒ අරමුදල ලබා ගන්නව නම්
මේ ප්‍රශ්නට ආධාර නැති වුණා ප්‍රශ්නට ආධාර නැතුණු මම ඒකට ඔබතුමාට පිළිතුර දෙන්නම් විශේෂයෙන්ම මේක සෙස් මුදල නෙවෙයි මන්ත්‍රීතුමා සෙස් මුදල පීබී ජයසුන්දර මැතිතුමාගේ කාලේ පටන් ගත්තා ඒක දිගටම භාණ්ඩාගාරයට ගන්න කෙලින්ම දැන් ඔබතුමා කතා කරන්නේ ප්‍රොමෝෂන් ලෙවි එක ගැන අපිට මේ ලැබෙන මුදල දැන් මිලියන ඩොලර් මිලියන 50ක් පමණ තිබෙනවා මගේ මතය තමයි මම මේක දැඩි ලෙස අගමැතිතුමාටත් කියලා තියෙනවා ව්‍යවස්ථාවේ 149 එක යටතේ කන්සොලිඩේටඩ් ෆන්ඩ් එකට ගන්න පුළුවන් කෙලින්ම බදු වලින් හා අනෙකුත් රජයට සම්බන්ධ මුදල් වලින් ලැබෙන මුදල් මේක රජයේ මුදල් වලට සම්බන්ධ නැහැ. එම නිසා 149 එක ව්‍යවස්ථාව යටතේ මේ මුදල් ටික මට අමාත්‍යවරයා වශයෙන් වක්කීමකින් භාණ්ඩාගාරයට ලබා දෙන්න බෑ. ඒක වෙනස් කරොත් මට කරන්න පුළුවන්.
The Exporters Association of Sri Lanka says, whilst understanding the current state of the economy, it finds this budget more of a corrective nature. The association, releasing a statement, said the budget does not address the need to progress the country's export industry. They noted the withdrawal of SPAT, which hugely minimized the transaction costs, will be, in their view, a disincentive to increasing export values. Furthermore, it said the imposition of the Trade in Services tax of 14% could have a negative impact on this activity. Cess on rubber increased from 4 to 15 rupees is a non-competitive measure, and they said they would appeal that an even playing field between manufacturers and producers of rubber sheets etc. be considered. The exporters welcomed the introduction of RAMIS, but they urged the finance ministers to withhold the suspension of SPAT until such time as RAMIS is fully operational. It also said that the 75% rebate on tax for exporters who achieve a 15% increase in foreign exchange between 2015, 2016 and 2016 and 2017 is welcome but slightly unrealistic. The State of Business will return with more news after this short break. Do stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching The State of Business. Two tax experts from ACCA expressed their views on indirect taxes and current trends across South Asia during an exclusive interview with Art Television.
Well, indirect tax, VAT or sales tax, they account for a huge amount of the tax revenue for the tax for governments and for tax authorities, as much as 2/3 of the tax take in some jurisdictions. But it's very striking how heavy reliance is on the indirect taxes by those governments that implement it. We need to have a broad base, we need to have a holistic approach to tax, and perhaps there's just too much reliance on indirect tax as things currently stand.
Countries, especially in South Asia, have a very strong development agenda. So the development agenda is normally around building new infrastructure, building new communications, providing utilities for their citizens. So the countries across South Asia have to raise revenue in order to meet those demands.
When you sell across a border, the usual way is to zero rate. So you don't pay VAT, and the people who are importing, they then tax themselves, what's called a reverse charge. So that's the main complexity. But also what we see is that that's an opportunity for fraud. So we need to make sure that there's enough systems in place, that the IT systems, the tax regime in terms of anti-avoidance or anti-fraud measures.
Well, increasingly, that businesses and public in general increasingly using technology, especially smartphones, etc., access to the internet. So these are widely accepted norms now across the nations in South Asia. We want to allow those particular methods available to the businesses as well, so that they can go online, they can register, they can submit their returns online, they can submit their documentations online to make life easier for the taxpayer, essentially.
Indirect taxes are here to come. And what we've seen in Europe is the rate of indirect tax has been going up. We've also seen that in Sri Lanka, because they are much more of a sure revenue gatherer for tax authorities, for governments. And so I think they'll have an even bigger, more prominent position as time goes by than direct taxes, which are easier to for companies to just shift jurisdictions, for individuals to move somewhere else for an income tax. So I think indirect taxes are going to be key to new tax regimes and existing tax regimes where they actually modify their tax systems. It's going to be very much centre stage for any new tax system and existing tax system.
The usage of big data actually provides the business community as well as the tax authorities with large trends of how commercial behaviour patterns pan out across different industries. So they can use that in order to predict or develop models of taxation. So they know exactly which sector across the different countries in different jurisdictions will give gross margins, for example, what the expectation of taxation collection would be. So there is increasingly a lot of access to big data, and really the footprint of that comes from the increasing use of technology.
The Sri Lanka National Energy Efficiency Awards 2016 will be held tomorrow at the BMICH in Colombo. This year, awards scheme has been formulated to comply with the theme Energy Efficiency is the first fuel in energy security. Sri Lanka National Energy Efficiency Awards ceremony is an annual event conducted by Sustainable Energy Authority to recognize the achievements of public and private sector institutions in energy efficiency improvement and conservation. Under different categories, industrial and commercial establishments owned by the state and private sector will be awarded for their initiatives on energy conservation.
මේ ආයතනය සතුව සෑහෙන මුදලක් තිබුණා ඉතිරි මුදලක්. අපි යෝජනා කරා ඒ ඉතිරි මුදල රාජ්‍ය බැංකුවක තැන්පත් කරලා ඒ රාජ්‍ය බැංකුව ඒක අපේට තියාගෙන තමන්ගේ පාරිභෝගිකයට ලෙකෝ ආයතන විසින් යෝජනා කරපුවාම ණය මුදලක් ලබා දෙනවා. 8ක වාගේ අඩු පොලියකට ලෙකෝ පාරිභෝගිකයට අද පුළුවන් මේ සූර්ය කෝෂයක් ලබා ගන්න. ඒකට අපි කවුරුත් විශේෂයෙන් නම් කරන්න යන්නේ නැහැ. අපිට අවශ්‍ය හොඳ තරඟයක් හදලා අවම මිල සහ හොඳම ප්‍රමිතිය කියන වටිනාකම ජනතාවට දෙන්න.
After this short break, it's a stock watch. Do stay with us for that. Welcome back to the show. Trading at the Colombo Stock Exchange ended in a lackluster note today, with both indices recording losses. The All Share Price Index shed 13.3 points to close at 6,243, while the S&P SL 20 index dropped by 5.6 points to close the session at 3,468. Turnover for the day was 284.8 million rupees, while 10.6 million shares were traded. Up next are the day's forex rates. And that's all the news we have for you tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow at the same time. Thank you for watching. Good night.